morning and welcome to Rising. We've got a great show planned for you today. I am joined by Nayyera. Welcome to Rising.
It is good to be with you all today.
Great to have you with us. Let's get right to our first story. President Biden's son was given a guilty verdict yesterday, just 5 months out from the presidential election. Hunter was found guilty on all 3 criminal counts related to the purchase and possession of a gun while being a user and an addict of illegal drugs. Now, following the verdict, President Biden quickly rearranged his schedule, traveling back home to Delaware to be with Hunter. Now, while the President Biden still believes Hunter will stay clean, the New York Times writes that Biden, quote, has also grown more resigned and worried than ever about what the future might hold for his son. The People said, speaking on condition of anonymity to relay private conversations. President Biden previously said he would not pardon his son, and he released a statement yesterday saying in part, quote, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. Jill and I will always be there for Hunter and the rest of our family with our love and support.
Meanwhile, lawmakers and the media had a lot to say about the verdict. Republican Representative Thomas Massie tweeted this quote, Hunter might deserve to be in jail for something, but purchasing a gun is not it. There are millions of marijuana users who own guns in this country, and none of them should be in jail for purchasing or possessing a firearm against current laws. To which Elon Musk responded, quote, I agree. He and others should be in jail for impugning the integrity of the United States by taking bribes for political favors, but not for pseudo-crime. Now, this, of course, is based on the unfounded claims related to Ukraine, which led to the Russia investigation in President Trump's first impeachment. Over at CNN, they created a montage comparing how Fox News reacted to Trump's verdict versus Hunter Biden's verdict. Let's watch.
We all need, to shop at Banana Republic from now on? Because that's what it feels like. Yeah, a Banana Republic.
For years, the Bidens have been able to escape any legal accountability for their sleazy, corrupt conduct. But today, their luck ran out. At least Hunter's did.
So, like Thomas Massie and other sort of libertarian-leaning Republican and conservative figures, I was also pretty conflicted on this specific prosecution of Hunter Biden. I support the Second Amendment. I support gun rights. I also think drugs should be decriminalized. It's very clear he did break this law, so I think the jury was correct to make this decision. But it's not so big an issue. I do have compassion for him as an addict. And the bigger stuff, the stuff I know the American people or the Biden critical public was really interested in, was whether there was attempts to sway his father on policies related to Ukraine or China, the kind of lobbying that he was attempting to do on behalf of foreign interests. I don't know that, and I'm not making the claim that anything came of that, but it seems pretty clear that's what he was trying to do. Maybe that was criminal. That's what we wanted to know, not, did he fill out a form wrong?
So you're not happy that you got a Biden just to get a Biden?
Right, no. And frankly, I don't think the Republican Party is either. Maybe they're taking this as a win, but Hunter Biden is not the one running for president.
Well, I appreciate that you said that. Hunter Biden has clearly gotten in the crosshairs of Trump, who also seemed conflicted about this verdict. The campaign released a statement, then retracted it, released another statement, then retracted that, because what is a Trump campaign going to do when they like seeing Biden convicted as a headline, but they don't want to get right, parentheses, but they don't want to get crosshairs of NRA. The NRA is already suing against this. They're saying that question that Hunter Biden falsely answered should not have been a legal question to begin with. NRA is going to take this all the way to the Supreme Court as part of a Second Amendment rights campaign, which I find fascinating at a time when we actually have the Sandy Hook victims, those students graduating without 20 of their classmates. So you have, on the one hand, gun violence rampant and the challenge of sending children to school worried about whether or not they're going to get shot, something I actually do worry about. And then this conviction that in theory would be a gun control positive conviction, but Trump can't figure out who to have empathy with in the moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, it scrambled a lot of constituencies here because, yeah, if anyone on the kind of liberal or Democratic side is saying, oh, it's so unfair, they're just throwing the book at him because, he's a politically high-profile person. I'm like, well, if you want gun laws enforced, they got to get enforced. Every time there is a mass shooting or something, then we start to go, okay, well, how could this have been prevented? And sometimes there's no way.
What most of the country starts to do is, or at least most politicians start to do, is do thoughts and prayers.
Well,
that's really what happens.
I think that's a perfectly legitimate reaction. Then we start saying...
A legitimate reaction would actually be looking at data, right? Looking, potentially even having the federal government collect data like it does on any other epidemiological issue or any other healthcare issue in the U.S. and find out exactly what is going on with gun violence. Yeah. Well, the NRA has had a deep and long influence on our policy and our politics. They also get a whole host of tax breaks, which is amazing because even though they're a lobbying group that we all know had been very powerful, they technically count as a charity. Right? They're doing charitable good works by advocating for your guns, but that has allowed them
advocating for your right to own a gun.
Well, so the
guns do not have rights. You have the right to own one.
Because guns don't kill people. I keep forgetting that part, even though it is a weapon designed to kill.
The vast
and I will say
majority
this
of
as
people
somebody
use guns properly, and the public policy question is how can we prevent the extreme minority of people who misuse guns from getting dangerous weapons. Most of them, by the way, do not misuse the high-powered rifles, the military-style weapons, the things that get used in the mass shootings that cause so much fear and concern account for like less than a fraction of a percent
actual gun ownership.
Gun deaths.
And this is interesting because I do come from a family where sportsmanship and gun ownership is something that is comfortable and accepted. Don't have guns in my house right now. My 2 kids are a little too rambunctious for that right now. But the challenge that we're seeing is the ability to access some of these high magazine and high capacity guns, which I think this conversation with Hunter Biden can be helpful and maybe bring this back so we don't need to wait for another school shooting and a bunch of children to be killed before we start talking about what is actually sensible when it comes to gun reform, gun control. Majority of Americans support background checks. But the questions that he was answering...
I mean, this was a background check.
Right. And so, like that's and even Biden has said, yeah, I'm not going to try to pardon my son. A court is a court. Will they accept this? I think this could be helpful to the broader cause. Obviously a challenge for Biden. I will say that I appreciate the family has had a sense of unity and integrity about this. It's fascinating to me that in all of the Trump legal doings and all of the court artist sketches, we never saw any of his children there in court with him.
Well, there's not going to be a pardon for sure until the day after the election. No, I don't know. We'll see. I think that could be possible, but we'll see. More Rising right after this.